welcome to my channel. My name is Cristina and I come to you from Lisbon, Portugal. Today I wanted to talk a bit about what are my plans for the next year and the next quarter, because I decided to divide some of my books by quarter. I'll explain what I mean. But first let me tell you, my organization is a little bit complex. So there are 4 books that I'm going to read throughout the year. So they are one of them is this one here. So I have wanted to read this forever because I'm constantly seeing references to Don Quixote in many books I read. So earlier, I think it was this year, I bought this. This is the edición conmemorativa, okay, of the 4th centenary of Cervantes, and it's in Spanish. I never studied Spanish, but I more or less understand it. So I decided to try and read this in Spanish. It smells so good. I don't know if I can manage it, but what I decided to do is divide this. First of all, the first 6 months I will read book 1 or part 1. I don't remember how they call it here, and then in the second half of the year, I will read the second book or the second part. And then I'm already divided this in some portions for each month. So that's one of my annual readings. The other one I already mentioned is that I decided to slowly read The Brothers Karamazov, which I read this year. And so the book is divided in 12 books, and I want to read one per month. And so by slow reading, I want to get to lots of things that I didn't get in the first reading. The other slow read or along the year, it's going to be Faith Roberts is organizing a read-along or buddy read of The City of God of St. Augustine. So we read together the Confessions, and now we are going to embark in this long voyage, which is the City of God. And she made an announcement video and already planned the reading for the whole year. And finally, I am going to read the 3rd part of the Divine Comedy, Paradiso, because I was waiting for Tom's videos about each canto, and I'm going to read an average of 1 canto per week. So they are 33 or 34, I think it's 33, so I will be reading and then watching the films that Tom's making. And these are the 4 works that I intend to read throughout the year. Then I also mentioned that I was going to, now that I have that beautiful edition of Lord of the Rings, I'm going to participate in David Wiley's read-along, again a slow read of the book The Lord of the Rings, which will last for 6 months. So I'm going to use that new edition to follow along that reading. And I decided that the second half of the year I was going to reread a book that I read several times when I was much younger, and I want to reread again, which is The Count of Monte Cristo. I have been meaning to read it for some time, or to reread it for some time. I remember that when I read it when I was younger, I've read it several times and I like the story a lot. So I want to reread it. And so after I finish reading The Lord of the Rings, so from July until the end of the year, I'm going to read The Count of Monte Cristo. This is me from the future, because I completely forgot to mention a read-along that I organized and or am organizing. By organizing, I mean there's a Voxer group for it. So if anyone wants to participate, just send me a message or tell me or comment below. And I forgot that this one, I've been thinking of this since, I don't know, the beginning of this current year, which is ending now, because as you may remember, I read the 6-book series, The Chronicles of Barsetshire by Anthony Trollope, and I had decided that I would like to read the Palliser series this next year. So there are 6 books, and our plan is to read 1 book every 2 months. So we are going to start with Can He Forgive Her? I think that's the title of the first one, in January, and so on. So this is the Palliser series by Anthony Trollope. And then every quarter I want to read from 3 authors. One is Charles Dickens. I decided to read all his novels in order. Of course, I've read several novels already. Even this year I read Our Mutual Friend and Bleak House, but I want to start from Pickwick Papers and go on like that. And I wanted to read at least 1 in each quarter. So for the first quarter, and by quarter I mean January, February, March, so until the 31st of March, I want to read from Charles Dickens. I want to read the Pickwick Papers. From Thomas Hardy, which is another author I'm reading, and I want to read Under the Greenwood Tree, I think it's the name. I didn't bring the book where I have those titles, and from George Eliot, Scenes of a Clerical Life. I think that's the name of the book. So this year I read several George Eliot books. I read Adam Bede, Silas Marner, The Mill on the Floss, and Felix Holt. I don't know if I'm missing, but I know that the ones I didn't read yet are Scenes of a Clerical Life, Romola, which I didn't had the time to read when the group was reading it, and Daniel Deronda. So I decided that I was going to start with the Scenes, then I'll read Romola, then Daniel Deronda, and then at the end of the year, perhaps in October, during Victober, I'm going to reread Middlemarch, which was the first book I read some time ago. And that's more or less my plans for this quarter. It's me from the future again. As you may see, the light is almost none because the sun has set, and this is the remaining of the sunlight I have here. But I forgot to mention that I wanted also to read some non-fiction, and for the first part of the year I know that I have The Laws of Human Nature, which is a Robert Greene book. I read his 48-hour Laws of Power and I liked it a lot. So I like how he tells the stories, and he includes some biographies in his stories. So that's one of them. And the other one is a biography of the Brontes, because last year, or this year, 2021, I read the novels of the three sisters, all the novels, and I then wanted to read the Juliet Barker biography, which I already have, but I forgot. And so I wanted to read that. That's at the beginning of the year. There is also a book, which I don't have the title here, but I might get, if I can, which is, there's an author, Peter Kreeft, and he wrote a book about Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, and the meaning of those that the book. Sorry, again, continue distracted. So I don't remember the title, but I will mention it in other videos when and if I'm reading it. But the idea was to pair that book with that slow read of the Lord of the Rings that I'm going to do. Of course, then I have what they call a pile of possibilities of books that I want to read, and I'm going to make a group of those books, and then I'll pick them up when I have the time during this first quarter. And my pool of books are very long, but I want to continue with some fantasy series I've been reading. And so I had for the first quarter, so for the first 3 months, I made a list of the books I wanted to pick up first. So I have Children of Dune, because I read Dune and Dune Messiah, and I want to read Children of Dune. From Gene Wolfe, I want to read the second book of the Book of the Sun, so it's The Claw of the Conciliator. From Stephen King, I'm reading the Dark Tower series, and I'm now going to number 5. So that's the one I want to read. There's a series I started in August, which was The Shadow of the Apt, and I read the first 2 books. I want to read the third book now. There's another series which is called the Great Coats series by something de Castel, the author. It's a Canadian author. I liked the first book, Traitor's Blade, a lot, and I want to continue the series, so I'm going to read the second one. Also in the Farseer series, I want to read the second book. I read the first, and I want to read the second book. And I want to start the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. I've heard a lot about it, and I picked the first volume. All these fantasy books I have in digital form because they are very thick, and it's much less expensive for me to have them in digital form. I also have the book Hyperion, which I was going to start and then I didn't, but I want to read it in the beginning of the year as well, so in this first quarter. There are other series I have ongoing, but I will reserve them for later because I cannot. For example, The Wheel of Time, I read the first book. I want to continue, but I didn't put it in here because I don't know if I have the time to read it. I wanted to read more slowly. So this past year, or this year which we are in, I read more than 120 books, and I feel that some of the books perhaps I rushed through them, and I wanted to read more slowly. So let's see if I'll do it. So, and I don't want to be overwhelmed with too many book buddy reads and things like that, but I end eventually always wanting to participate. So I'm also participating in the Humorous Book Club, which I like very much, and I like our conversations a lot, and the books are normally, as the name says, very funny. I think that in January we were thinking of P.G. Wodehouse book, but I'm not sure which one it's going to be. Then there is a read-along that I don't know the name. It's organized by Sean D. Standfast and Scott from the Bookish Bryant is participating, and Mark Richardson from Richardson Reads is also, which is science fiction, mainly Asimov and other writers, but that wrote stories in the same world of Asimov. So, and I wanted to participate, perhaps not 100% reading everything that it's planned, because there's a long list of books, and short stories. In January they are reading mainly from the short stories from The Complete Robot. I want that book, The Complete Robot, which I saw. There's no digital form for that book itself, so I want to get the book. I haven't yet, and I don't know when I may buy it, but I intend to read some of the stories at least from that book. And also I'm participating in the African Cup read-along, which is planned from, I think it's the 6th of January to the 9th of February, or the 9th of January to the 6th of February, I don't know. But it's something that Mark from Book Time with Elvis organized, like he did with the European Cup. So each person is assigned a country that is participating, one from the 24 countries that are participating in the championship, and then we read, for example, my country is Morocco, my country to start with, and I selected a book. It's an old book, and I didn't bring the name of the book here, I'm so sorry, but I will be talking about it in later videos, I'm sure. It's something about the travels of Ibn something. It's a man that left Tangier, where he was from, and went with the intention of traveling to Mecca. But then he spent 20 years traveling around Europe, Asia, and I don't know where else, but he did travel a lot. And the book, so this is the tale of his stories. I think it's from the 14th century or 15th century, I'm not sure. So if Morocco wins the game, I can spend more time reading from Morocco. If it loses a game, I will have to read a book that is by a writer from the country which Morocco is going to play with, or set in that country. That's the idea, and it's very funny how this challenge works. I loved the European challenge, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. Although January is already being a little bit too heavy on readings for someone as I that doesn't want to read as much as I have been reading. And I'm also going to read some short stories by Flannery O'Connor. I have the book, The Complete Short Stories, and Noah and Victoria from A Musical Bookworm, and I think Christy Lewis from Dostoevsky in Space. They are organizing a Flannery or January, which is a read-along of Flannery O'Connor books. Noah is going to read the book The Something Buried Away. I'm so well prepared for today. The it's something starting with V, I think, but I don't remember. It's one of her two novels. And then Victoria is going to read some short stories from the group of short stories A Good Man is Hard to Find. I don't know if it's the name. Today I'm really, I don't know if I'm going to post this video because I'm really distracted. And then Christy is reading some of her letters. I really liked to read her letters and her diaries, but I don't have them. I have the short stories, so that's what I'm going to read. And this is more or less my plans. I have more already. For example, the other day I saw Greg from Another Bibliophile Reads talking about a book which I wanted to reread. I read it when I was very young, and I think that I wasn't. It was perhaps a little bit soon for me to read such a book, so I remember parts of it, but not all, which is The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann. Still, I remember that I liked it. I also read Death in Venice. When I was a teenager, I always read lots of books which were a little bit advanced for my age, but then I grew older and I became less intellectual. So, but I want to read that, and fortunately he's announcing that for April, so it's for the second quarter, and I hope that I won't be so overwhelmed with things that I want to read in that quarter, because again I want to slow down and see if I can pace my reading more appropriately. That being said, it's natural that all my plans go awry and I decide to do or to read other stuff. I don't mind it at all. So I don't feel guilty because I haven't read something that I planned. This is for fun, and it's something that I like to do. I also like to participate in the community, so that's why I like to read along with other people, but I don't feel that pressure of like if it were an obligation. No, it's not. It's something that I do for fun, and if I don't like a book, it's very rare for me to DNF, but perhaps I take it will take longer, or maybe I will skip some books if I see that I cannot read them, or also it's very natural that shorter books or something that I'm in the mood for in that particular day and I decide to pick, that's going to happen. So we'll see. So again, I don't know if I'm going to post this or not, because I've been here, I don't know, a little bit distracted and not well prepared as I thought I was. So I'll see you next time, hopefully when I am with perhaps a better video.